so much for joining me for this edition of Just Ask Jane. Today's all about fear and overcoming it. It's much, much easier than you think, and hopefully I'll be able to give you some great tips and some advice to be able to help you with your fear factors. Now, I'm going to tell you, fear really is an unpleasant emotion that's tied to a belief that something terrible is going to happen. And the thing is, it's really quite imaginary, because fear really is, it's empty. It's a preconceived thought of things or events that have not quite yet occurred, yet we feed those fears with our imagination. We start to think, oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh my God, what if? Now, what ifs are fears for me? And really, we feed those things every single day. Now, we can plan an event for tomorrow, but what happens is we tend to fear what those things will bring us because they haven't quite happened yet. And so when you think of fear, really it's an imaginary thought. It's something that we start to think of. We start to think of scenarios. Oh my God, what if I run into this person? What if she says this? Or what if he does this? Or what if? Those things haven't quite happened yet. You have to start thinking about what you want, not what you don't want. And so when I tell people that their fears are causing their boundaries, causing their four walls to close in on them, they start to think, oh my goodness, you're right. Really, it holds us back to the point where sometimes we won't go to certain events because we're so fearful of someone being there or something might happen, or we don't watch a certain television program because we think something terrible or negative is going to be on there, or something scary or gross or terrible. The thing is, we limit ourselves every single day with this thing up here, our imaginations. And our imaginations can be the greatest thing, but they can also be the worst thing for us. We can plan tomorrow, but tomorrow hasn't happened yet. It's how to get around that. So what I tell people really is, think of fear. It's a false evidence that appears real. Really, it's a preconceived thought of something that hasn't happened yet. Why limit yourself to those thoughts? Instead of thinking of these negative things that are going to happen, center yourself into the now. And what I do is I usually close my eyes for a moment and I start to think, okay, what is it that you want to see happen from this event, Jay? So instead of fearing, oh my goodness, what if the audience doesn't like me? What if I give a reading and someone can't connect with that? I start to think instead how that person's going to benefit from what I tell them, how their heart's going to heal, or how they're going to be so entertained with the silliness that I'm putting out there, and the fun aspects, and the messages that I give out, and everything that I bring to the table, how happy I'm going to make people when I do this, instead of fearing that someone may not like me or someone may not be able to accept what it is that I'm doing. I never think of that. You know, my mother used to tell me, what people think of you is none of your business, and it took me a long time to get around that, but fear really is about the same thing. It's really about a preconceived thought or an event or something that's not yet occurred. We feed these thoughts constantly, and then our imagination gets the best of us and takes us to places where we don't want to be. It takes us on a road of visualizing certain things that haven't happened, and yet we start to think of these things over and over, and how terrible these things are going to be, and oh my God, what if this happens? I have to do this. Don't do that to yourself. Start to think of what you want from this event, or from what it is that's going to happen. If it's a problem that you're trying to tackle, think of the positive outcomes that could happen, and think of the conversations you're going to have around that. Start thinking of the wonderful things, or how people are going to love and accept you with what it is that you're putting out there. Start thinking that people are there to be with you, or to rejoice in what it is that you're rejoicing in, and start making it a positive thought rather than a negative one. You know, we can be certainly our worst enemies with the things that we think, and we sometimes want so much, to be accepted or to be loved, these types of things. But if you put yourself there before it even happens with positive thoughts, I'm telling you, you're just going to attract the very same to you. If you think about it, you were created in His image. And if we talk about that without talking about religion, what is His image? It's that of a creator. And you don't have to have children to create your life and your situations around you. You are a creator with your thoughts and your imagination as to what you want. So why would you think of negative things? Why would you think of terrible things and set these imaginary boundaries around you when these things haven't yet occurred? So think of the things that you want. Play these scenarios in your mind. Set yourself on that stage and start to think of what you're doing tomorrow and how it's going to play out and how you'd like to see that event turn out or how you'd like to see it happen. And the more you practice, the better it is. You know, my mother used to tell me, if someone tells you every day that if you look out that window and terrible things are going to happen to you, you're going to stop looking out that window because your imagination will start taking the best of you. You're going to start to think of all the terrible things out of that window. Oh my God, what if you're scared? What if you never want to look outside again as long as you live? So my mother used to say to me, don't believe other people's realities. You have your own four walls. This is your world. You need to center yourself on it. And you need to believe that when you look out that window, you're only going to see the most beautiful things. You're going to see rainbows. You're going to see the rainfall. You're going to see the sunshine. You're going to see children play. You're going to see beautiful things. Don't believe the fear of others. Don't limit yourself with those boundaries. Of course, unless it's something dangerous, you're going to take heed to what someone is telling you. But when it comes to your own life, think of what you want. Start getting yourself out of that, limiting yourself with these boundaries and thinking these negative thoughts. And you're going to see your life is going to do a great big spin around and you're going to feel so much better about the things coming up, and you're going to start, having fun with your thoughts and centering yourself into, oh my goodness, I'm going to have such a great time. Everybody's going to love me. I'm going to meet so many great people, and this is going to be such a wonderful experience. Why don't you try that instead and see what happens, and let me know in the comment section below. I love you guys all so much. Thank you so much, for participating here at Just Ask Jay, and for all of your comments. And if you have a burning desire to ask me anything your little heart desires, please, I'd love to hear from you. Take care, everybody, and until next video, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.